season of The Summer I Turned Pretty. The full season is out now and the show is finished, and I'm actually so sad that it's over, but if you're a fan of the show, which I'm sure if you're watching this you are, you probably know that there's a movie coming, so it's not actually over. But yeah, let's talk about the final season, season 3 of The Summer I Turned Pretty. Well, I actually ended up watching the last episode a bit late, and I ended up watching it on a beach with my friend, and yeah, we drove down to this beach, sat in the car, had her phone up, and yeah, we're watching it in a car with a view of the beach, which was really nice. But it's so funny because the majority of the episode happens in Paris, so they're not even at the beach. But anyway, it was a really nice way to experience the final episode. But I'm just going to go through any notes that I made about the series as a whole and what I thought about it. So the first thing I said is that it felt very different to season 1 and season 2, and it also felt very grown up and very mature. And I did notice this difference from season 1 and season 2 as well. I remember when season 2 came out and I kind of had a bit of resistance to it because I thought, wait a second, this was different. This doesn't feel like my beloved season 1, because I do love season 1 so much. I think it's my favourite season and still is my favourite season. I don't know what it is. There's magic. There's just there's like summer magic in that season. But yeah, this third season just felt really, really grown up, which makes sense because the characters are older, they are in university, they're like, you know, having jobs, and then also the things they're going through are quite serious, like engagements and marriages and weddings and calling weddings off and stuff like that. So it all just felt very serious. And then also there was a bit more less PG scenes, and then also I think with things like Stephen's accident, it just made it all more serious. And I didn't necessarily like this because season 1's my favourite season, and I think I loved it so much because it was just so fun and it was just summer and it was like easy watching, whereas the third season was kind of like, oh, so many heavy scenes coming in right now, so I'm not sure how much I really like that. But I understand, like, there needs to be a progression, the show needs to progress and the characters progress, and the characters obviously got older. But yeah, it just felt so real. Now, I've read all the books, I've read them twice, and for this final season, it's obviously book 3. They did change quite a lot of the stuff, and I understand why they made some changes. I think they wanted to make sure that the story could be digestible to the audience, because really, if you think about it, it is a crazy story, season 3, like the fact that you get engaged to one brother and then you end up ending it and being with the other brother forever, like that is weird. And it is, you know, it is something that I think the changes they made were to make it kind of go down easier. But I didn't love all the changes, and one change that I really didn't like was the decision to make Belly and Jeremiah's relationship be longer and to make them get engaged kind of later in time. So to explain what I mean by that, I'm pretty sure in the book when they get engaged they've been together for like a year or 2 years, whereas in the show they make a point of saying it's been 4 years, Connie's been in California for 4 years, and there's been this kind of 4-year gap. I didn't really like that gap because I think the fact that the relationship was quite short in the book meant that when they got engaged it was even more like, what are you doing? And then so for the show to make it a more substantial relationship, I then found Conrad still being obsessed with Belly and kind of Conrad being endgame, which of course I'm team Conrad, but I found that with this change, Conrad being endgame and still pining for her this whole time, it felt a bit silly. And there's one scene in one of the episodes where Belly says, we had a high school relationship when I was 18 or however old she was then, 17 or whatever it was. We had a high school relationship, it didn't work out, get over it type thing. And I almost was like, you're so right. You are so right. Like, if you actually objectively look at the situation kind of logically, you dated her for a year, if that, and then she's been with Jer for like all these years. Like, it kind of made Conrad and Belly and Conrad's actions feel worse and feel sillier to me, which I didn't like because I'm Team Conrad. So yeah, I wasn't loving that too much. And then it also meant that because it had been more time, it therefore added to everyone feeling grown up and everything feeling grown up. Next up, and this might be controversial, and I feel like quite a lot of my notes and kind of opinions are controversial, but that was just how I felt. Next up, I said I didn't love the inclusion of Paris. So in the books, Paris doesn't happen. I don't think it's a thing at all. I don't remember anything about kind of a year abroad, a study year abroad for her, for Belly's university degree. But they obviously added it in the show, and she ends up going to Paris and she ends up living there for, is it a year or maybe a bit more, maybe 2 years. Yeah, I didn't love the inclusion of it. I understood it and it was nice. It was like, okay, yeah, Belly, you know, she's like getting to explore and she's like finding herself a bit more. But I don't know. I didn't love it, and I definitely didn't love the inclusion of French Cam Cameron. Again, I understand it, but actually watching it, I didn't love it. And I think a main reason why I didn't like Paris is because I just really like, as I've said, loved season 1. I really like how in the books, kind of the catalyst of every book happens at the summer house, and that's how it plays out, and that's what happens in the 3rd book, you know, like she's gonna get married at the house and then everything goes down and she doesn't, and then that's the end of the book and she's with Conrad. I liked how the book ended it, to be honest. Like it was, you know, drama filled and kind of insane if you really deeply think about it, but I liked it, and I kind of wanted that. So then the inclusion of Paris and dragging out the kind of Conrad and Belly reunion, while it gave us more content, which always happy about, gave us more episodes, always happy about that, it just, yeah, it just dragged it on for kind of no reason, because I was like, well, I know you're going to be together and now you're just together in Paris. But you know, it did give us some really good scenes, and there were some really good scenes in the final episode, which is the one where Conrad goes to Paris. So it's not all bad, but yeah, I just didn't love the inclusion of Paris, and I could have gone without it. My next criticism is that, I feel like I'm being so negative, is that it felt like there was quite a lot of filler in this season, and by the filler I mean Stephen's accident, everything of Taylor's mum, Laurel, and I don't even know his name, David, their dad, Belly and Stephen's dad, Stephen, Jeremiah and Denise's job, Conrad and the girl who like is his friend but obviously likes him, Adam and Kaylee. Like there just seemed to be, for me, so much filler, and I was kind of like, I don't care, like I don't really care about it. Like Stephen and Taylor are fine, and like if they were the only filler then that's kind of okay, because they are like, you know, they were a staple like dynamic from the start. But all the rest I was kind of just like, I don't care. Like I remember anytime there'd be scenes of those nature, I'd just be like, where's Conrad, where's Conrad, where's Conrad and Belly, where's Conrad thinking about Belly, where's you know. See, I didn't love the filler. I understand why they had it. I feel like they just wanted to give every character a proper fleshing out and a proper ending and do justice to every character, but a part of me was like, does every character need justice? Like, you know, we know whose story this is. It's Belly. Really, it's Belly and Conrad's story, but you know, Jeremiah is there as well. So it's like Belly, Jeremiah and Conrad, like that they are the titular characters, it is their story. So I was kind of just like, did we really need all these other characters to have all this backstory stuff going on? And again, it made for more content, it meant they could make more episodes, and I'm always happy about that. But I almost just wish they'd done the 3 main characters' story, focused on it a lot, and just done that really, really well. I almost think I would have preferred that over a lot of what I saw as, yeah, filler. Next, I said, and this kind of goes back to the point that I made about Paris and like the inclusion of that, I kind of wish that it ended with all of them at the beach house, which is how the book does kind of end. Yeah, I just wish, I don't know, I just wanted a visual of like all of them at the beach house together, and like, and happiness again, just harking back to season 1 and the vibes of that. I think I just wanted more vibes like that cultivated in the final episode. And obviously at the end of the episode, Conrad and Belly do go back to the beach house, and that's really nice. But yeah, I just kind of wanted it to be everyone and it to be nice. But we have the movie coming, so I'm sure we will get everyone at the beach house, so I can't be too mad about that. But also, if we're taking this as like a series and a complete series, because it is, yeah, I would have preferred them all to, you know, have been at the beach house at the end, because that would have been really nice. And like, thinking back, we hadn't seen Belly and Laurel together for so long by the last episode. Like, we had not seen them together since the wedding, well, the wedding that didn't happen. So even just thinking about that, that feels wrong. And like Belly and Taylor as well, just feels, yeah, something about it feels a bit wrong. I then said, and this is not a criticism this time, this is like a positive, again on the point of like, it felt so real. While, you know, that meant that it was different from my favourite season, it also meant that like the feelings and the scenes were hitting so hard because it felt so real. And I just remember like watching this and just being like, oh my god, like this is actually rough and devastating. Like with Jeremiah and Belly, like them ending their marriage, I was actually like, this is actually, like, imagine if this actually happened to you. Like, this would be horrible. Like, emotionally, this would be traumatic and horrible. And like Jeremiah, like, just, I was putting myself in his position and I was like, actually, that's really horrible. Like, imagine going through that. And I don't know if it's because I was potentially watching the series like a bit more, I had a bit more emotions because I've just ended a 5-year relationship, so I wonder if maybe I was projecting a little bit. I did find that watching the episode, some of the things they were saying, I was like, this is so relatable, and why does watching this show feel like therapy to me? But yeah, I just really like deeped the actual situation, because when you read the book, it's kind of like, oh, you know, girly fun, like, yep, 2 brothers, like, just, you know, just drama. But then when you actually watch it real, like in such a realistic way, it's like, god, that's actually horrific to go through that. And yeah, so it just felt really, really real, which is a good thing. Like, you know, it moved me essentially. My next point is that I wish Cameron came back at the end. How amazing would that have been? Or maybe not the end, like the final episode, because, you know, is he important enough for that? But I don't know, like, could he have been like at the country club, because, you know, his mum like worked there? I don't know. I would have loved Cameron to be in the series somewhere. That would have been so cute. I wonder if he'll be in the movie. That would be really cute, because I love Cameron. So cute. And instead we just got French Cameron, and I want real Cameron. I feel like I've been quite critical, but I do have good things to say as well. There were so many beautiful scenes, like cinematography wise, and also the emotions, like the scene where Conrad and Belly go to Michael's. The cinematography in that scene was, wow, it was so nice. Like watching Conrad glide along with that trolley, such a good scene. It was mainly the scenes between like Conrad and Belly where the cinematography was stunning, but also obviously the emotional content of the scene was as well. I also really liked visually the scene of the stag and hen do when Belly is like on the dance floor and she's like, you know, crashing out about Conrad. I loved that visually as well. I thought that was stunning. And yeah, as I said, like the emotional scenes were emotional. Like they slapped so hard. Like the beach scene between Conrad and Belly, oh my god. The scene where Conrad found out about the cheating, the scene in the final episode where like Conrad is, you know, talking about his feelings. Yeah, the emotions were emoting. The scenes where Conrad and Jer were fighting, I was loving that, loving the drama. I also love that in a few of these scenes, especially like the scenes between, you know, Conrad and Belly, or about Conrad and Belly, there were a lot of flashbacks to like season 1 or season 2 and moments in that. Love that. Like I just love the like harking back to, no, remember like this connection that we had in season 1 and season 2, and like just the little flashes of those scenes. I love that. It made me really happy as someone who, as I said, loved season 1, and I did like season 2 as well. Yeah, it just felt like a complete picture. It felt really whole, and it was just like reminding us of like the connection that Conrad and Belly had. And yeah, I just also love like the inclusion of also, you know, going back in time to when Conrad and Belly were kids as well. Like they didn't lose that element of like the fact that, you know, she'd been in love with him for so long, and like the relationship that they'd always had and the bond that they always had. And I especially love the moment in, I think it was the final episode, where we see that boardwalk scene again, where, you know, Conrad took Belly to the boardwalk, and then she's like, I remember this part in the book as well, because it's in the book. Belly is like, oh, he took me here because he thinks that girl's cute. And like, yeah, and then from the scene in the show you see that he wasn't interested in the girl. That killed me. And I think in my, well, it just harks back to a point. I made a video, I don't know if you've seen it, in defense of Conrad Fisher, and it just goes back to the points I was making in that video of like, Belly is insecure, right? Or like she was insecure and never believed that someone like Conrad, who she idolized, would fancy her. So then like when he takes her to the boardwalk and then she sees a pretty girl, she's like, oh, makes sense. And it's like, it kind of confirmed her own belief of like, oh yeah, he sees me as a little kid and he took me here because he wants to see her. Like I was just here as like an excuse. And I loved that final episode literally just fully disproved it and was like, no, she did have it wrong. She was, you know, projecting her own insecurities on the situation. Love that. And I just feel like I called it in that defense of Conrad Fisher video. And another positive, which relates to the point I just made, is just Conrad. Like he was impeccable. Like literally Conrad stands, or we were rising. Like it was impeccable. They did Conrad so well. Chris Briney did Conrad so well. Obsessed with him, in love with him. Every scene that he was just crying about Belly was perfection. Again, in that video that I made in defense of Conrad Fisher, where I, you know, defended him and talked about how he's been misunderstood this whole time, they essentially in this season, I believe, fully explained why he acted how he did, explained his motives, explained all of that, and that's what I wanted, and that's what I love. And again, I think I called it in that video that, you know, suddenly as the viewer could see the light of like, no, okay, so this is how Conrad is feeling and this is why he's acting like this, and it all clicked and it all made sense. And just, yeah, Conrad, Team Conrad, we had a great time. I think it was so good. So yeah, every Conrad moment, just 10 out of 10, and I have no complaints about that as well. I also said, I don't know why, but why was like Adam like kind of funny? Like I actually didn't mind Adam's presence in this season. Like yeah, he was just kind of funny, especially that scene where it's Christmas and he's wearing like a Santa hat and he reveals to Stephen that he knows that Stephen is like going behind his back. Why was he hilarious in that scene? Like I was laughing so much in that scene. I don't know why. He was just so funny. So go Adam, I suppose. And my final point was that the music was so good. Of course it was. We knew it would be. So much Taylor, so much Tortured Poets Department, which just killed me every time, especially as I, you know, as I said, had a breakup. And then they're like playing my breakup songs, like literally the songs that I'm listening to while going through my breakup. They're playing the breakup songs while like Belly and Conrad are suffering, and I was just sat there like, yeah, this is the way of the world. Like this is the way things need to go. Yeah, the music was so good. So much Taylor, loads of other great songs as well. Just slapped. It just slapped as always, but I expected nothing different from the music on this show because it always has and it always will slap and always is like great choices for every scene. I will say though, the use of French music in Paris, it started to piss me off. At first it was cute. It was like, yep, we're in Paris, so we're playing French music, and then it was like every scene had French music and it was like, I get it, we're in Paris, we don't just have to listen to French music because we're in Paris. So that started to grate on me a little bit, but you know, I didn't love the whole Paris section anyway, so that probably added to it. And that was what I thought about the show. I just, yeah, about the season and the show, because it's over. Might have been quite a lot of criticism, but I did love it. I did love it. I had such an enjoyable time sitting down every Wednesday watching it with my mum and my friend. Such a great time. Yeah, I love that show. I think it's such a good show. I think this final season did it justice. While I had my gripes, I do think it did it justice so well, and I think just from watching it, it's so clear that the people that made it, Jenny Han, the actors, they have so much love for this story and took so much care to tell it, and I was very happy with it, and also very happy with the fact that it was a longer season, even though I think that meant that, you know, they added things, Paris, which potentially didn't need to be there, and added filler that didn't need to be there, but I take that for more content, because I always want more content from this show because I love it so much. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think it was a good end to the show. And of course she ended up with Conrad, which, you know, of course she did. Nature needs to be balanced, you know, the laws of nature, we can't go against the laws of nature, and those were the laws. So I'm glad that it turned out that way. I knew it would, but it's always good to be proven right. And then finally the movie, of course, the movie. I saw the kind of announcement of the movie before I'd even seen the last episode, because I think it got announced on the day the last episode aired, and I didn't watch it until the weekend, and I was shook. I didn't even know what happened in the last episode, but suddenly there was going to be a movie. And yes, I will be sat for a movie. Any more content that they want to give, I'll be sat. I will be there. I don't know what it's going to be about, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know anything, but I will be there. I will be sat. If Chris Briney is there and Lola Tung is there, I'll be sat. I will be watching that movie. Who knows when it will come out as well, but I'm excited for whatever will happen in it, as long as Conrad and Belly don't break up in it, but I don't think that would happen. Touch wood. But yes, that was my review. Finally, we have justice for Conrad, and finally balance has been restored in the universe. So now I need to find another show to obsess about, I suppose, but we still have the movie, so maybe I don't. Okay, thank you for hearing my thoughts on this beautiful show that I love so much. But that is it for today. I am ill, if you can tell from my voice, so I think I need to stop talking now. But yeah, love that show. 10 out of 10. Great season, and I will be rewatching many times while I wait in anticipation for the movie to come out. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Belly, your wedding's at a fucking country club. Who are you?
Isabel Conklin's not excited to eat a cupcake? Who are you?
Belly, your wedding's at a fucking country club. Who are you?
Who are you?